So just be forewarned if you're listening to this episode, you're about to get triggered tremendously. So probably skip this one.
We're going to have a discussion about the world around us and how to navigate this to the best of our abilities.
Some Bitcoiners aren't ready for that discussion.
Well, we're here. I mean, I'm not ready for it. That's why I'm trying to make friends with as many people as possible and be as humble as possible.
Welcome to Thriller Bitcoin. Welcome to Thriller Bitcoin.
Alex, how's it going? Welcome to the pod. Welcome to Thriller.
Thank you very much. I put my phone on airplane mode just now.
Cool.
I'll
turn off my phone too.
Zero distractions.
So let's jump into it. Is Alex Jones really going away?
Well, I don't really know the full-blown intricacies of the case, but I do know that at this point in time, everybody is Alex Jones. And so I don't see how you can do this successfully.
What do you mean by that? Like, just because they came after him, or?
Well, in terms of everybody being Alex Jones, the stuff that Alex Jones used to say that used to be considered fringe conspiracy theories are now mainstream thought, right? Like in 2001, if you questioned the validity of 9/11 and asked, well, how did Building 7 collapse via controlled demolition when they told me that a plane hit the building? Or why did a record number of put options get placed in the airline companies like days leading up to this event? Why did this coincidentally happen a couple years after the Project for a New American Century, which is a neoconservative think tank, wrote out a whole list of ideals about how to spread American democracy in the Middle East, saying that you need a catastrophic event to help fuel this to the next level. If you question that like 25 years ago, or not 25 years ago, but like 22 years ago, like 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004, right? Like you were considered a terrorist sympathizer. It was unpatriotic. You were demonized and pilloried by everybody. You couldn't talk about that in public without getting, either ignored, ridiculed, or even threatened with physical violence. Now, if you believe the mainstream narrative, you're just looked upon like a clown.
Do you think it's because it was communistic back then and we're becoming less communistic as a country, or you think it's even more communistic?
No, I think that I don't even know if communism is the right word. I just think that people had more trust and more faith in the media, and they had more faith in our institutions because remember, in 2000 and 2001, people were successful, right? The American dream was still real. It was attainable. The housing crisis didn't happen yet. The subprime mortgage bubble didn't burst. The Patriot Act didn't get signed yet. And even when it did get signed, a lot of people supported it because we have to get rid of the terrorists, and people also, I remember when I went to school, our entire education system was very pro-America. America's the best country. Everyone else is bad. We are the good guys. We are protecting freedom and democracy all over the world. Like this is the Rockefeller funded public education system, right? Now that we've achieved a lot of those objectives and spent insane amounts of money on these pointless wars in the Middle East to basically enrich bankers and oil execs and all this other stuff, right? And yes, there are terrorists that we did get rid of, and there are some national security elements that are legitimate. and you can't discount that. But by and large, you just helped get bankers and oil executives and technocrats exponentially richer and created the backdrop for a surveillance state. Now, the shift is becoming hating America. So like this new generation of kids, they are taught, like, America's racist. We are oppressors. We are colonizers.
Dude, what's up with that?
You are bad because you're white. You are inherently privileged. I got to be a minority. I need to be a minority, and I'm ashamed of my whiteness. So now I'm going to like become a transgender and chop my balls off, at the age of 8 years old so that I can no longer be a part of the oppressor class. And then on the other side, and take this with a grain of salt, I'm not black, right, or Hispanic or anything like that. But on the other side, you have the potential for this other group of people to automatically feel as though they are inferior or less than, because of their skin color, which is preposterous and ridiculous. And then instead of like embracing the idea of owning investable assets, buying Bitcoin, getting a house, having a garden, those are now like white people activities. Those are like associated with the patriarchy. Those are associated with the oppressor. And I think creating that narrative is like a step towards kind of destroying it and destroying the United States through division. And then, when that happens, it gets rebuilt by people who don't share any of the values that our country was founded upon. And so I think that this is just a different set of challenges that we're kind of facing right now.
Yeah, dude, I always hated that people try to label you and stuff like that. And that just puts a limit to what you're capable of as a human being, Are you
talking about me personally or just
No, I'm just saying
humans,
me.
right?
Like whenever somebody's like, oh, you're Mexican American, or what, I'm just like, dude, I'm not going to label myself, because as soon as I put me on a label, I'm just like limiting myself what I can accomplish in the world.
Dude, the right is doing it now too with all the Jew hatred.
What do you mean? Like,
you don't go on Twitter?
No,
right?
I deleted my Twitter because it's completely woke.
Because it's a cesspool. And
it's woke and it's algorithmic, and it's doing some in weirdly devilish things that I don't
It's very devilish and it's very algorithmic. And there's actually a new term. It's called the woke right.
Okay, I didn't know that.
And like the woke left, it's obvious. Everything's identity politics, and like, if you don't suck the girl penis, you're a fascist, basically. Like that's kind of to be as simplistic as possible in terms of making the generalization. But the woke right is like everything's identity politics, but it's all anti-white. Okay. Right. And it's all Jews are controlling everything. We have the Zionist occupied government.
What side is this? What is this?
It's a fringe of the right wing, like this Nick Fuentes, Groyper, like faction of like the right wing.
Interesting.
And so you're seeing actually a lot more of that than you are just woke. Like when I go on X, I don't see like wokeness anymore. Like if I were to go on X and only consume X or Twitter, I would think that stuff has actually died. And a new form of wokeness is taking place, and it's just become Jew hatred.
Interesting. I had no idea.
Or just trying to say like, or just being this doppelganger where it's like, oh, I was so angry. Like people were so angry about like, oh my God, I don't want to get canceled because I criticized BLM, or because I didn't want to get a vaccine, or because I like Donald Trump, or, or for whatever the reason being, or I'm an Alex Jones listener, and then all of a sudden now like this inverse has come about where you have like these moderately attractive females dropping N-bombs, and all of a sudden now they have 100,000 followers because they're dropping N-bombs.
M-bombs?
N. Saying they're saying a word that only black people can say. Right.
Interesting.
So, yeah. And it's going like super viral. And then people are just having full-blown arguments on this website, right? When we're on the precipice of World War III, you have big tech companies that are doing everything that they can, putting backdoors in the software to try to like take any ounce of privacy that you have away from you. You're these bureaucrats and central bankers are chopping at the bits, rubbing their hands together to create central bank digital currencies. You have people going to Davos talking about how disinformation and hate speech and everything else, and Putin and Russia is threatening our democratic institutions, and there's a simultaneous push for unprecedented amounts of censorship. And whether it happens through government or it happens in a way that's super stealth, people who are supposed to be fighting the New World Order, who are supposed to be on conservative, patriotic, freedom-loving Americans, are now arguing with each other over whether or not it's okay to say a certain word that I don't need to say.
Yeah, it's weird to me. I just don't see it. For me, I just don't see the point of talking about this anymore. It's just go out and just start building it.
Yes,
that's where I'm at. I don't know. Is it because I'm completely checked out? I just don't care anymore.
Well, that's kind of where I'm going, right?
Yeah.
And that's why, like, I'm making videos and I'm still doing things, and it's funny because I'm talking a bunch of shit about this whole culture war stuff.
Yeah.
Well, meanwhile, my last video was at Planet Fitness dressing up as a drag queen.
Did you have fun doing that?
Yeah, I love it. People shit, and that's the thing too. People shit all over.
Which Planet Fitness?
The one on Riverside.
Oh, interesting.
They sent me an email saying that I'm not allowed in, but I went as Alexa.
wait. Are you a membership?
No, I just signed I did the guest thing, and I went as Alexa Dawson, my drag queen character, and I have an email address for her specifically because when in 22, last time I came on, I was going to meetings all the time. I was like, hey, I got to go to Dallas for a school board meeting. I got to go. I got to go drive like halfway across the state to go troll this council meeting. And I was doing this with nobody was paying me, dude. I was doing this on my own dime because I genuinely wanted to.
Wait, I thought you were working with Alex Stein, weren't you?
No, we were friends and he gave me the idea to do this.
But he didn't fund you though? I thought he was funding.
No, he wasn't funding me. He was once in a while sharing my videos and inspired me to do it. And I made some friends.
No, I don't mean like in that kind of way. I mean more like he was just like helping you out as a bro.
He was helping me out as a bro and sharing my videos.
And
okay.
I thought he was giving you. I thought he was giving you some money too.
He was not giving me any money.
Why is he not giving you money? He should.
Good question. It's a good question.
You're like the Joker to his Batman.
No, I'm not the Joker. I'm Robin. That's what it was. I was Robin.
Well, you're the Robin to his Batman.
I was fine with that. And
yo, Alex, if you're listening, give my boy here some money. He deserves it.
We don't really talk as much anymore, right?
Why not? It's because he's too popular.
No, it's just he's busy. He has a lot of things to do.
Did he beat you up on his? When I
was the clown. Well, because I stole. I was the CEO.
He beat you up though.
Well, I was the CEO of Silicon Valley.
Physically assaulted you.
I was the CEO of Silicon Valley Bank, and I spent.
Why did he?
Well, I'm trying to tell you the story.
Okay, sorry.
About the story. I'm trying to tell you the story. Okay?
I was having fun. Sorry.
So, I was the CEO of the Silicon Valley Bank.
I had no idea.
Right. And I was dressed as my clown. Yeah, as my clown character. I was the SVB CEO, and apparently he lost all his money. And I went on the show to explain to him why he lost all his money. And it's because we were building this really great, innovative project. We were giving vegan cat food to trans kids in the Austin Independent School District.
As a token or something?
Well, exactly. And we were going to offer a 35% yield on FTX. And then he got really angry because he said, my money went to shit. And then he just attacked me when all I'm trying to do is just build a better, more equitable future as the CEO of Silicon Valley Bank.
Jeez, man.
Unbelievable.
That's crazy.
Unbelievable.
What, let's roll back. Let's roll back to the Alex Jones thing. So is he not allowed to make any videos anymore, any podcasts?
So I don't know yet. I think he is. The judge basically said that he has to sell it from what I know. Okay.
Okay.
And I've been trying to follow this and read about what's happening. From what I gather, he is, he has to sell his personal assets to help pay the lawsuit.
Gosh.
All right. And the lawsuit is just insane and ridiculous. And there's videos where intelligence agencies go off and talk about how they were helping and colluding with the parents and like whatnot. I mean, and I could be wrong, but this is kind of what I gather from this, right? To try to like pressure them into like basically bankrupting him, right? Completely.
Gosh.
And that information's out there. So you see that. And so a lot of people actually have a lot more sympathy for Alex Jones than they did 10 years ago, 7 years ago, 6 years ago, 5 years ago. So he's almost becoming a martyr in that aspect. But the judge basically said that, and what we found out was that the families actually wanted InfoWars to completely dissolve it, like to dissolve and destroy the company and make it so that they're not allowed to even have social media accounts, and like the crew members aren't allowed to do all this stuff, and really like erase them from the internet and trying to create a legal precedent for doing it. The judge ruled against that.
Okay.
So InfoWars is still able to, is on for that. It has some saving grace for the next couple months.
So,
right?
But they're still in Austin, right? They're
still in Austin.
Okay,
yeah.
South Austin. Yeah.
They're in an undisclosed location in Austin.
I know where they're at.
Okay, well.
We don't have to say, but.
Yeah, they're in an undisclosed location in Austin. All right. This is what's happening, right? But what's kind of crazy is that like.
So Alex Jones doesn't report from there anymore, or he doesn't jump in?
They have the studio.
Oh, so he does still work.
I think it's still going on. It's still happening, right?
So he's not completely offline.
No, he's fine. He's online. He's good. He's good. He has to liquidate personal assets, but they can still keep the brand because the brand and the revenue from the brand helps pay the families.
He's so big, dude. And he's such a big fixture here in Austin.
He's been keeping Austin weird longer than most of us have been alive.
I know. And I don't think people recognize just how big of he's just as big as Willie Nelson, man.
He's bigger.
I mean, whether you like him or not,
Willie Nelson
he's a big part of Austin.
I think Willie Nelson's actually kind of a sellout.
Really?
Yeah, he's a sellout, man. Like he like does rallies.
They
for
named a
gun.
street. Didn't they name a street after him?
Yeah, I mean, I think they should change it. I'm gonna get so much hate.
Oh,
for
it's for 2nd Street.
Yeah, but like, dude, look, he does rallies for gun grabbers like Beto O'Rourke. He was a big
Does he
shill.
really?
Yeah, he was a big shill for the vaccine. He promoted like the
I didn't know
lockdowns.
that.
Yeah, like he's just like I mean, and there's
Wait,
a
is Matthew McConaughey like that too?
I don't know enough about Matthew McConaughey. I think Matthew McConaughey is doing his best to toe a line. And I think he's very wealthy and he's very like, and he has a very like wealthy, rich, privileged existence. And I think he wants to talk to people on both sides of the aisle, but because he like still lives in a bit of a Hollywood bubble where he's immune to a lot of things.
What about Joe Rogan?
Rogan's different. It depends on how you got famous and how you got big, right? Like when you got big acting in Hollywood versus you getting big being a comedian and a UFC commentator, and you have a black belt in jiu-jitsu at 10th Planet under Eddie Bravo, and the people that you are around have more like conspiratorial or viewpoints that don't that openly question the narrative. You're going to have fame and fortune, success under a different set of pretenses, and so therefore you'll have different beliefs.
So what are you saying about? So I guess what are you saying? So is he just like Willie Nelson and Matthew McConaughey?
I don't think he's as bad. Like he's not Matthew McConaughey. I think my view is that, and I don't know very much. I don't pay much attention to him. But with people like McConaughey, I think that they're just trying to kind of toe a line and please everybody, and they still believe in the system and believe in being moderate and you know, agreeing with one point and another point and trying to like appeal to the average suburban, you know.
Yeah, he's good for Austin. I mean,
the average suburban mom who couldn't wait to get Braden and Jaden vaccinated, right? That's what I think McConaughey is, and I think that if you were to have a conversation with him, he would probably be really open to having a very adult back and forth conversation, and I feel like he'd
off
be
the books.
On the books too. I feel like he'd be a really pleasant person to talk to, Matthew McConaughey, and maybe Willie Nelson too. But Willie Nelson is openly a lot more of an activist for these New World Order entities than Matthew McConaughey. Matthew McConaughey, I think, generally just wants to mind his business and like, you know, and when he went on Rogan, he talked a lot about like self-help and about like eating right and exercising and like, you know, doing a lot of positive things that actually help you fight this tyrannical stuff better. He
does it in more of a politically correct way.
Yeah, you just might disagree with him on some ideas, and that's okay because that's what America's about. You disagree with people and you have civil discussions.
Yeah, I think they're all good for Austin. I know Jones is good for Austin. Matthew McConaughey is good for Austin. Willie Nelson, I mean, yeah, I guess you're right, but I guess he's good for Austin. He's
still good for Austin. He still has really good, he still made amazing music and was a great artist.
Yeah.
But
I mean, that's a really good song.
Highwayman was a really good song.
Yeah.
I play it for my customers.
Again. That's a really good song.
And honestly,
I've been to a couple of his 4th of July parties. They're really cool, man.
Those are fun. That pedicab one at
they're so much fun, dude.
At the
you won't have a better time at a better
the vibes are great. Everyone's happy and it's good.
So
I think like
so there's no helping Alex Jones is what you're saying at this point.
What do you mean?
Like there's nothing we could do as Austinites to help him.
No, well, you help by spreading awareness about what's happening, right?
Didn't you call into the show or something?
No, I've been on the show. I've never been on Alex's show.
But I thought you called into the show about Bitcoin or something.
No. Oh, okay. This is what happened.
So yeah, this is where I was trying to lead us to the whole time.
Okay.
So go into why you called in and why we can still.
So I asked Ellen, there was one of the anti-Israel protests. Okay.
All right, what's going on with that real quick? So
a bunch of college kids are having these protests and they're LARPing. And
where at UT or something?
Yeah, not anymore because school's over. Basically,
they went home for the summer.
Basically LARPing, and just to elevator pitch, it's basically a bunch of college kids that are kind of like protesting against Israel. They think Israel's a terrorist state, and a lot of them think that Hamas are freedom fighters fighting against an unjustified occupation. And that's a discussion that I don't want to have because those discussions can last for hours on end.
Is it because it goes into the whole Bible stuff, or? Well,
there's that, and there's just it's so complicated on both sides because both sides have legitimate claims.
Interesting. We'll save it for another pod.
That's for another episode. Like that just becomes hours and hours and hours and hours and hours.
I would love to learn more about it, but
I still need to learn more about it. I just know that I'm a Jew and I have family that live there, and I have families that were in the concentration camps that had marks in on their arms, and like when you've been systematically discriminated against for centuries, forever, for no reason. Do you
feel like you're still discriminated against?
No. But what I'm trying to say is that like the need for a self-sovereign country, and especially when it's been in the Torah, and the idea of Zionism, which is a Jewish home in Israel, has been going on for thousands of years. It's not like some new phenomenon that took place in the 1800s, because the the Lord Rothschild convinced Arthur Balfour to write a declaration. That's been going on forever, right? It's just got more popularized because of a lot of the persecution that Jews started dealing with. But when you feel like you don't like have an actual home or you actually belong in whatever country you are, even when you're fully adopting the values, like the need to have your own self-sovereign country, especially after what happened during World War II, I think it's very obvious, right? And that being said, like never again is now. But when you have Arab families that have lived in a certain area for hundreds of years, right? And they're just farmers and they just want to live with the land and be left alone. And most of these people are not very literate and because they didn't need to be because they just had a very simple life. And all of a sudden, like some bureaucrats or some people that may have not looked like them and may have just looked like me more so are just saying, oh no, this is our land. And then you're using like, and then you're like helping to, utilize like British military or military like factions, and you might have better weapons because of because of the fact that you're still from another country. I could see resentment building up, and then you also have certain factions, and I got to learn more about it. But you have like the Stern Gang or the Haganah and all these other elements that may have not done any favors, and then you have the fact that there are certain people that will like invoke biblical prophecies or want to rebuild the Temple Mount, which is the Al-Aqsa Mosque, and make it part of Israel again. And that's not in Israel. And so that means conquering and taking more land, which displaces more people, which causes more animosity towards Israel. That animosity could spread past Gaza, which it already is, to other Arab countries. You can get populist uprisings that could make it so that the Arab world all of a sudden becomes against Israel instead of working with Israel, which they've made a lot of progress to do that. Because the Arab world back in the day, in like the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, Israel had 9 Arab neighbors that wanted to obliterate them. And so now through diplomacy, there are allies now. They have allyships. And when Iran launched the airstrikes, you had Arab countries that actually helped Israel thwart the airstrikes so minimal damage occurred. But continued aggression could potentially cause those countries to not want to help, which can escalate a greater conflict. And then with the mass migration of Arabs and Muslims to Europe, you might eventually have to start worrying about airstrikes from France or from Ireland or from Italy instead of just from the Middle East. So that is another valid concern, which basically we're going off topic, but it makes the situation extremely complicated, extremely difficult to talk about. And, since we're lucky enough to live in America, we should be talking about this as calmly as possible without launching personal attacks. And a lot of people are not able to do that. But, sorry.
I was just going to, go ahead.
No, share. What were you saying?
I was going to say, when we were in Bedford, I want to say it was like, I forget what month it was, but the bombings were happening like around the same time or whatever. And me and another person who I went docs were there. And we were just like normal day Bitcoin event, whatever. And then we just see the TVs all come on and they're all talking about and dude, that was the first time wherever I actually, as an American, finally realized what it was like to experience that. Cause I had never seen, it'd be like if someone, like we're here in Texas and somebody's bombing like, somewhere in South
Colorado
America.
or Mexico.
Yeah. And for the first time ever, I was like, oh, this is why it's concerning. And I never experienced that, but it was like interesting because the closer you are to the warfare, you definitely are. You pay more attention to it. And I was definitely more like, ooh, what's going on? And like, I was concerned. Yeah, it's weird. Like, you know what I mean? Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes. But anyway, this is back to InfoWars, right? And
we're not going to keep talking about it? Okay.
Well, you asked me what I called them the Bitcoin stuff, and I didn't get a chance to explain.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, right. Okay. So we're going to go back.
We had the
rewind 7 minutes.
Rewind. Yes. 7 minutes. Rewind. That's why I didn't want to talk about this because all of a sudden we just took whatever amount of time.
Dude, but I learned a lot. If you're telling me one side of it, right?
And I know nothing.
Oh, you don't know anything?
I barely know anything. And I'm trying to tell you both sides. I'm trying to tell you both sides.
Should people believe you when what you're saying about that then?
I think that what I'm saying, I don't think what I'm saying is false, but I'm just saying there's a lot more to unpack from what I said. It's very simplistic and there's even more to unpack from that. But
I will say, go do your research then.
Well, yes.
If that captivated you, you should go do your research. If you're listening I was just turning down my headphones.
People should do their research. And I think AI and all that stuff is actually going to help make people a lot more smarter, more enlightened with this, but we got to use it correctly. But let me get back to what I said with Owen. And they had the protest and I messaged Owen. I was like, yo, are you at the protest? And he's like, no, dude, I'm in studio, but do you want to Skype in?
For the way we're going back to the InfoWars stuff.
Yeah. Do you want to Skype into the protest? And I was like, yeah. And so I Skyped in for like 40 minutes on my phone, and I just held my phone up in the air and just started talking about what was going on for like 40 minutes straight, and just went off about everything. And I was talking to the Israelis. I was trying to talk to the cops. I was talking to
This is on at UT?
At UT, talking to everybody.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And for the most part, like there were some people that were like talking shit to me and stuff like that. But I was responding, and once I was responding, like I was responding similar to what I said to you. Nobody was like
when right now?
Yeah, just now I was responding like about.
Oh, you're just talking your book.
Yeah. Just speaking my language, my what I'm saying, right? And then at the end, I was just like, well, how come you guys don't accept Bitcoin at the InfoWars store?
Oh, you told him that?
Yeah, I was like, you guys need to start accepting Bitcoin at the InfoWars store, because a lot of people are gonna want to help and want to do this stuff, but they're afraid of getting their they don't want their info revealed. You know, like they want their privacy.
Wait. Yeah. So you're saying, hang on, let me unpack this for the people that are listening at home. So you're saying that you called into InfoWars. They asked, how could you support them? And then you basically said, well, you should take Bitcoin because I don't want to dox myself showing support for InfoWars.
Well, sort of. What happened was I did my 30 minutes with Owen. And then while we were leaving, while he was saying, hey, how do we get a hold of you and this and that, I just snuck that in at the very end of the show. At the very end of the segment, I'm just like, you guys got to start accepting Bitcoin. You need to start accepting this because...
Yeah, they should use Zapprate.
They should. They should use a lot of these tools, and they should need to come here, and people from InfoWars need to come to the Bitcoin developer meetups. They need to come to like the wine meetups, and they have to get involved with this.
They won't come until it's too late. And that's just unfortunate where these people are headed. I mean, dude, we've been doing so much work as a community for the past 4 years, even 5 or 6 years, if you count just the bit devs. And like, as a community of Bitcoiners, there's just no way they're going to come over. They would have came over by now. And I feel sorry for those people because it's like, we did everything we could to help them.
I talk about it all the time. And I'm like, dude, accept Bitcoin. Bitcoin fixes this, right?
Dude, we were at a bar last year, whatever it was. I forget what we were celebrating, but I asked the bartender if he wanted Bitcoin tip instead. And the guy was like, no, give me cash. And I was just like, you're not going to make it. And we got into this whole big old discussion about why that was the wrong thing to do. And it was just like, okay, dude, well, then you can't even convince people that, yeah.
Well, I have this problem when I give pedicab rides. And
How?
My sign says 25% discount.
Wait, I paid full price.
You did. Well, you paid because you like me and you're my friend, and you didn't pay the full price. I didn't even charge you. You paid whatever you wanted to pay because I would have been happy.
I paid you $20 of Bitcoin.
You paid me that because you wanted to pay me, but I wasn't going to charge you.
I know, but you didn't tell me about that 25% discount.
It's on the sign. The sign is visible. If you can't read the sign.
You got to tell them though. Maybe this is the problem that you're running into.
The sign. People will read the sign and talk to me about it after reading the sign that's right there. And honestly, I wouldn't even like. You've given me so much of it. So nice of me.
Just kidding,
I don't even want money from
you.
This
is for the pod.
I know. But but that joke's aside, dude. Like, I don't want any money. I would never like ask you for money for a ride. Anything that you guys give me when I give pedicab rides.
You need a sponsor though.
You did. You guys gave me sponsorships.
Oh yeah, back in the day. That was Kyle's call.
Good on Kyle.
That was Kyle's call.
That helped me out a lot.
We don't have that kind of money anymore, but if we did.
Good on. Well, you know what? It was a good decision. I support it fully, and it's helped me.
Is Stacker News supporting you?
No, but I like the hat, and I think they're a good company, and hopefully they will too, because I want to be associated. I want to be associated with companies that align with my values.
Dude,
just like I have a new ad on my cab for a website called unjected.com. And have you heard of Unjected? It's a dating platform. It's a dating platform. Well, they gave me their advertising on my cab.
Let's go back to the Bitcoin thing. I don't want to just shill a company.
Let's go back to the company. A lot of Bitcoiners are unvaccinated. This is good. It'll help them It'll help them get married and find children and help repopulate.
Let's go back into the what you were saying. So you called in. They said, yeah. What did that guy Owen say? He said no.
Well, he's like, the government. You know what? I'll show you the clip and you can actually play it.
Okay, I'll play it right here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Let me know. It's obviously dying down. Hey, Owen, one last thing. They got to start accepting Bitcoin at the InfoWars store, right? Tell that to Alex.
I think we have a Bitcoin donation tab, but I could be wrong about that.
I want to buy the Turbo Force. I want to buy the male Vitality.
You mean you want to buy? Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I don't know. The government might not let us do that.
What do you mean? That's what Bitcoin's for.
Yeah, well, we're in a bit of a situation here dealing with certain entities trying to shut us down, so it becomes a problem at times.
Bitcoin fixes this. Start accepting Bitcoin, and I'll buy a whole bunch of stuff from you guys.
All right. Alex, appreciate your time. Stay safe out there. Best of luck.
All right, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
I have it
Okay,
on.
they just listened to it. Now explain what happened.
Yeah, you'll listen to it. And he basically said that, well, we're kind of in a little bit of trouble with the government and this and that. And I'm just like, well, yes, that Bitcoin fixes that. And
Oh, wow.
but then we had to go. So we just said goodbye to each other.
Have
We were
you
laughing.
been on back since?
I had Harrison Smith on, I think a week or so later.
Are these all anchors at?
Yeah, they all work there.
Oh, cool.
And I went on a show called Toxic Culture with this guy named Rob, who produces this small little black guy. And I'm just waiting for our episode to drop. And I have Rob Dew, who's one of the producers, works for Alex. And he's coming on tomorrow. Tomorrow, that's what we're hoping for. And what's today's date?
Today's Monday, the 17th.
So the 18th, because I don't know when this airs, right? So
it'll air on Thursday.
Okay, so he'll be so by then it'll
Wednesday
already
night,
come on.
yeah.
Yeah. So he's gonna come on after this episode, and that's what we're
cool.
hoping for. We're gonna talk more about this. But dude, I'm telling you, I'm gonna bring up a lot of Bitcoin and a lot of this stuff about where to go.
Dude, just tell him
forward.
to get Zap right. If he needs any help,
Just come to Pleb Lab. They want to help you. They're all fans.
I wouldn't say that. I mean,
A lot of people here are fans of the show.
I wouldn't say we're fans. I would just say that we want to help people get onboarded, but
Yeah.
we don't have that. Like no one's getting paid to do that. Like people,
No, but I think a lot of people. A lot
I would just say come to the workshops.
You should come to the workshops and learn, and these people would be happy to show you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
come to the workshops. I mean, that's a lot of the stuff that we do is definitely more on the nonprofit side. So,
Well, dude, I've actually been very grateful that I've been having people that have been kind of guiding me through this journey, because it is scary, dude. Like I don't know anything, and I'm lucky that I can come to you guys when I have a question and have you guys help me.
dude, you're an amazing individual, man. I don't think you realize how much of a just bright light you are to a lot of people in this town. A lot of people love you.
Yeah, that's kind of cool, right?
It is cool. I mean, you're a funny guy, dude. You're you're just a funny guy. This is why I don't understand why Alex Stein won't have you back on the show.
That's not that. I mean,
Maybe it's because you're still in his thunder. Maybe.
I don't know. No, it's not. I didn't.
Maybe
say,
because you're both named Alex.
I never said anything bad about Alex or anything. I have no idea. Like I love Alex, and Alex is the best, and Alex is played a huge role in terms of shifting the way the culture has changed.
Is he still doing
city council?
meetings?
Yeah, I'm sure once in a while. Look, here's the thing with people with Alex, right? And it's that if he didn't go to those council meetings and do what he did in these council meetings, we might not be where we are, because I honestly think that our culture has actually shifted so much over the past 2 years, where we're actually getting closer to God. We're getting closer to the values of privacy are becoming more popular, more mainstream, and being a little bit more conservative and being less being anti-woke is becoming cool now. And people like Alex Stein play a huge role in doing that. And that's something that you can never you can never take back.
Yeah.
You can never talk shit about somebody as a result that you have to do nothing but show love and respect, because the stuff that he did 2 years ago and last year and everything like that is a big reason why we still might be able to continue living in America. And I did this because I love what he was doing and I just wanted to add to it.
Is he eventually, a Christian too? Is he a Christian?
I don't
too?
know, because I think Stein's Jewish name. I don't know.
Oh,
but what
okay.
I do know is that tyranny is how you defeat comedy. Satan hates being mocked. I know that from a basic standpoint. And lately I've been feeling that, I might want to start transitioning into doing something else and making having more adult conversations or doing more interviews and doing more actual journalism. Yeah, I'm still going to make these troll videos
Would
once
you
in a
write,
while.
you mean? Would you write?
I don't know about writing, but I want to do I definitely want to have I actually enjoy doing these podcasts where you're taught having these back and forth stimulating intellectual discussions a lot more than I enjoy just being a caricature and whatnot.
You're growing.
Yeah. Especially since I'm not happy with how social media is becoming, and I don't know what kind of algorithm I really want to feed. But that being said, if I'm feeling like this, I have a responsibility to find someone else that's going to carry this on.
Interesting.
Because there should be an Alex Stein in every city council meeting. There really should be,
Interesting,
and that's what I believe. I think that's how you defeat a lot of the tyranny. Just like everyone's Alex Jones, you need Alex Stein everywhere. You need.
Is it weird that you guys are all named Alex?
The three Alexes and Alex Rosen too? You met him.
Oh, he's another Alex?
Yeah, the big dude that was sleeping on the couch.
Isn't that weird that you guys are all named
And
Alex?
Alex Jones, I know.
That's weird. Oh my God. Dude, that's strange.
It's all the Alexes.
Alex Stein, Alex Stringer.
Alex
Who was the
Rosen.
other one?
Alex Jones, Alex Rosen, Alex Strenger. Yeah.
What the heck, dude?
Yeah, it's all the Alex.
Damn, that's wild. Is
I think-
everybody who works for the deep state Alex? No, I'm just kidding.
We're working against the deep state. It's kind of odd.
I'm kidding. That was a
Dude,
joke.
and like three of us, we're all Jews. Like we're all kind of Jews. Like Stein I know is half Jewish, Rosen's Jewish.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, which is also even funny.
Is that a popular name amongst Jewish people?
No, I just don't think that. I don't think so. I just think that that's just a coincidence.
Yeah, I think it's just a coincidence because if you look at a lot of the stuff that's getting built in like Latin America, they're all like, of Latin. I don't know, is Latin the right word? They're all like brown, So
yeah, well,
it
not
makes
Javier
sense.
Milei. Milei's not very brown.
Yeah, but like, but you know what I mean? Like, it's just a lot of, because that's the culture, just builder culture.
Yeah.
We build pyramids. We build Bitcoin hubs.
Well, dude, a lot of the Jews were the slaves who built the pyramids too.
Oh, were they?
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but
No, I was talking about like the
Jews
Aztec stuff.
Oh, I'm talking about in Egypt.
Oh, you're talking about, okay, yeah.
But a lot of Jews are Middle Eastern too, right? So it's just,
I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
God has a funny way of.
And it's like, oh yeah,
giving
well, a lot
people
of
the right
Jews are
tools.
white and this and that. I'm like, yeah, because of a diaspora of them being thrown out of Egypt and having to settle all over the world. And then you just, this is what you get. But
It's great
I don't
conversation. I had no idea.
I don't know. But like I said, I'm just in the process of also going on my journey.
Are you going to start writing, do you think? Do you
Dude,
write?
I've thought about writing a self-help book.
You?
Yeah. And I want to write musicals.
You?
Yeah. I want to make musicals.
Well, what did Alex Strenger musical look like?
I want to make InfoWars on Ice.
Wow.
And I had a dream. No, InfoWars on, let me tell you about this. Okay.
All right, go for it. Tell me.
So it's like Disney on Ice, but it's about a frog who's coming to terms with like his sexuality.
A frog.
Yeah.
Where? Okay, I feel like I saw
Because of
this
the gay
somewhere.
frogs, all right? So it's about a frog in the pond who's coming to terms with his sexuality because like the deep state and the Dow Chemical Company and Hillary Clinton and all these bad people, they're putting chemicals in the water to turn the frogs gay. And it's basically like a story of like a coming of age story about like acceptance, but also like not trusting the government. And I have like kind of Act 1 written down, but I don't know how to transition to Act 2. But basically, like the frog, he's Daryl the frog wants to go to the prom, with like his female, there's a really hot girl and he wants to make her his date. And then he gets like pushed, and then him and his friend George, like they're at a party, and then
This feels weird.
well, yeah, and then there's like the school bully, and the bully is named David the Hog.
Okay.
You know David Hogg, like the gun,
No.
the guy, the
No.
Parkland kid.
No.
And so he pushes Daryl into the water, and then all of a sudden he wakes up, and now he has feelings for his best friend George because of all the chemicals in the water.
That's weird.
So that, yeah, and then
It
he
would
has
be more
this-
like a Muffet thing.
yeah,
You could probably get that passed on like Disney Plus or something, I would imagine.
InfoWars Nice, and then you just get, and then he
Have you
then he
seen
has to
some
see
of
the
the Disney?
stage.
Have you
Hold
seen
on.
some of the Disney stuff?
No, I don't watch that crap.
Dude, it's crazy.
It's the most satanic.
Well, it's not
demonic shit
even
in the
that.
world.
It's just that it's so like I'm surprised like Eisner hasn't like fixed any of this stuff.
Oh, dude, let me tell you my other musical.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. And I dreamt this. I don't know if it's a musical or what, but it's like a Star Wars movie, but it's like the force of cancel culture. Cause like Star Wars has gotten like super woke. And so like make a Star Wars musical where like you're defending the Empire through the lens of wokeness.
Yeah, I don't
Like you're
understand.
defending like the Death. We need the Death Star because like how else are we going to protect Ukraine?
Wait, I don't get it.
Like cause Darth Vader was building the Death Star. It's like
you're saying like
the Death Star protects
so
democracy.
you're saying like you're saying Darth Vader was the good guy the whole time?
Yeah, because he's like super
I
woke.
would've-
Yeah.
I can't really watch it. I mean, I guess I could watch it that
You
way.
just make it like so Darth
What
Vader's
if
like
it's like that's wild, dude?
Darth Vader's the good guy and like the Jedis are really bad because like they're not they're like, they have these extra beliefs and they're like not, they're questioning the experts and then everybody has to live.
Were they? The
I don't
council
know.
was?
Well, the Jedis were like rebels, right? And so like
No,
the
they didn't
Jedis,
start off that way with the Old Republic. I thought they started off with
well, they killed a lot of the Jedis, right? But no.
So you're saying
like the
you're
rebels,
basically
the rebels
saying,
are
you're
like
basically
domestic
saying-
extremists.
You're saying like Anakin actually did the right thing. Like
I
went
gotta
to the
figure
dark
this
side.
out. Yeah, no.
Yeah, you should probably figure that out first.
Yeah, but like Emperor Palpatine's like kind of like Klaus Schwab. You know what I mean? Like you could really do a lot of stuff. Like just make it like. Yeah, I feel like I gotta have a lot of fun with this. I gotta rewatch the Star Wars movies, but I think like I have an idea. I think this could be a lot of fun.
Somebody was saying that about Jar Jar, that he was before the new movies came out. There was like an online thread. I think it was on Reddit or something. They were saying like Jar Jar was actually Palpatine or whatever. He was like Darth Sidious or whatever. Like before episode 7 or whatever. This was like an online thread.
I have to watch all of these movies. I have to binge out on all the Star Wars movies. My girlfriend is not a Star Wars fan though, which kind of sucks because she watches all the trashy reality TVs. And
Does she really?
Yeah,
Like,
I'm
which ones?
All 90 Day Fiance. These are like the most fiat shows in the world, bro. I watch it just
Do you
to
pay
see
for
great-
cable or what?
We pay for cable.
Gosh.
It's not that much, but we do pay.
How much is it? Like, is it $300
Cable and
these
internet,
days?
it's like $100. It's not a big
These
deal.
days, really? That's not bad.
It's cheap. It's cheap.
Do you get like gig fiber, or you have like?
I have to look at what we got, but we just like a basic.
Do you have a
package.
telephone too? Does it come with a telephone?
No, there's no telephone.
That's still cheaper than some of these other things. Though.
Yeah, it's what it is.
So do you watch the? What's your favorite woke programming? Okay.
I actually enjoy 90 Day Fiance.
Really? Wow.
Well, I enjoy watching it with my
So
girlfriend.
what happens? Do they just get married in 90 days or something? Or?
Sort of like it's like these passport bros or these passport bitches.
What's that?
How these women or men that just go to find love in like other countries, and they're just like, it's like usually what happens is like one person's from America and the other person's like from like some third world shithole, and like
they bring them to America?
Yeah.
That's a real thing?
They bring them to America, or sometimes they even move to the other country and get married.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of wild. It's entertaining. I like watching it because it like kind of it just numbs your brain a little bit, and it makes my girlfriend happy, and I like providing non-essential commentary when my girlfriend's watching the show.
Wait, so you don't talk to her about this kind of stuff that we're talking about today?
I talked about this shit all the time. You know the meme? And my girlfriend's gotten a lot better. She's gotten a lot more base. Like she listens to Alex Jones sometimes now with me, and she has that idea. But you know, look, girls like to watch sometimes things that we don't like to watch, and it's just what it is. It's like watching. It's like porn, but not really porn because I don't look at that stuff. But it's just, you know, for a metaphorical example. But we'll watch it, and you know, I'm just make jokes about what's going on. You know, like they had one guy was like trying to had a fucking tranny from England, and like this one guy from Minnesota was like, yeah, dude, it was wild. And I'm just like, you know what it is? You just see like the degeneracy and how bad the fiat clown world is by watching all that stuff.
I think
And
everybody
it's like,
just dropped off. Hey,
wow. No, it's not even,
kidding.
it's pre-recorded. Get out of here.
I'm just kidding. So let's talk about Austin. Let's talk about
Austin.
Let's talk about Austin. So tell me about the, what's going on in the city? Like what are you seeing out there as far as like boots on the ground?
Boots on the ground. Our assistant DA like pistol whipped his roommate.
Wait, what?
Yeah, over an argument about like porn or some weird stuff in his house, allegedly. I don't know exactly the intricacies, but the fact of the matter, you don't even know about that. You know why?
Yeah, what's going on? I don't know what's going on.
Our assistant district attorney got charged with like pistol whipping or aggravated battery or something insane.
Wait, so you're saying like the Austin Statesman's not covering this, or
no? They covered it. No, they covered it.
did
They did cover it. They're covering it. It's there.
Okay.
It's public information. Okay. What I'm saying is that
who did he beat up, or she?
I don't think his roommate. It was like his roommate. Him and his roommate got in a fight over like streaming porn over something really crazy or ridiculous. But and the guy's like 51. He has a roommate. He's the assistant DA, and he like got charged like aggravated battery. I think there was a firearm or a weapon involved or something.
Oh my
like
God!
That, right?
Did it go off?
No, it didn't go off.
Oh wow.
But the point is, that's the assistant DA. Okay. And if I'm a Republican running against him, I'm having a field day with this, and I'm making it so that everybody knows. But you don't know.
Wow. Are they running this year? I thought they ran last year.
No, this election's going on right now. And the fact that the average everyday person, you know what? I have an idea for a street interview. You just gave me an idea for a video.
So wait,
we're going to go to Barton Springs and we're going to ask people about this and see if they know. Because people think Austin's super woke and super libtard, left wing, you know, all that bullshit, right? And they're not. The only reason that happens is because these like radical communist, socialist, DSA type people have a lot of resources and spend the resources really well and communicate and have a very loyal group of voters that will vote and clog up the phones and do all this stuff. Whereas the GOP in Travis County does none of that. Has divisive messaging, does not know how to communicate through social media, and does not inspire any kind of hope or optimism or give people a positive alternative. And so Austin looks a lot more woke than it is. And the fact that not everybody in Austin is even going to know that this happened means that the communication of our GOP in Travis County is abominable.
It's interesting to me.
And I like the GOP chair. Sorry, I'm interrupting you. I like the GOP chair. I like Matt McCoyak. Every time we talk, very pleasant, very civil.
Who are these? Who'd you say right now?
His name is Matt McCoyak.
Who's that?
The GOP chair in Travis County.
What does he do?
He's in charge of he like helps allocate funds and how runs the GOP meetings and probably does stuff with delegates and party chairs and all that and whatnot. Right. And I like him as a person. Interacting with him, never had a bad interaction. Nice guy to talk to. But this is a communication problem, and it's very glaring, and it should get pointed out because I still want to live in America. And me driving a pedicab in Austin, the George Soros DA that doesn't want to prosecute rapists and murderers and fucking pedophiles, well, that's a safety hazard for me, and it's a safety hazard for all of us who work here and everything else. It should get fixed and addressed. And the only reason it's not getting fixed and addressed is because people in Austin don't understand the magnitude of this. And the reason that they don't understand the magnitude of this is because of bad communication.
Okay, let's unpack that a little bit. So let's go back to the assistant DA thing. So what's going on there? And did he get reprimanded? Is he losing his job?
I don't know the full details of it, but this is just what I know. Okay, and we could Google it, or you can. Do you want me to Google it? I don't want to take my phone out and Google and start looking.
No. Okay, so you don't know much more than that. It is. So who's the DA on top of him? Like
Jose Garza. But
and then where did he come from?
He was a lawyer for like the Workers' Defense Project, which is basically like another socialist, like worker advocacy union group, and he ran this campaign, and a lot of there's a nonprofit to public office pipeline, and he was a product of that.
Okay, but you're the one that he's saying that you're saying he's a Soros.
He is a Soros. He got $900,000 from George Soros in 2020.
And you can prove
it's
that?
On his filings. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Gosh. That's amazing.
That's.
Do they publish that on like Austin Statesman and stuff?
Yeah,
like
they publish the finance reports. It gets brought up, but they don't run with it. Like they'll bring it up and then it'll kind of die off, and
people forget.
News media is powerful, man. They have the ability to drag a story on forever or kill it immediately, just like they dragged COVID on unnecessarily, which kind of played a role towards destroying the country. And luckily, through the destruction, people are coming around to people are getting a better understanding of what to value and what not to value. So it's hopefully going to get backfire. We're going to enter into an age of enlightenment, which is good, and I'm thankful for that. But the point is, these media outlets have a lot of power and influence. And if they're not, and if they're not dragging this on, it's because they choose not to.
So why is, because I want to ask you a really dumb question. So sorry, I just don't follow any of this stuff.
I've been following it less and less because I'm just getting annoyed with everybody. Because I'm just like, why do I want to follow a bunch of losers who don't actually want to try or make any effort?
So why is George Soros doing this for?
Why? Well, George Soros made a fortune shorting currencies. And you're betting on the destruction of society. Also, another thing is that sometimes people get super rich through like bad measures. And when his family used to work with the Nazis to help uncover Jews while they were in concentration, like to send them to camps. And he openly worked with the Nazis when he was Jewish. I think that.
Oh, he's Jewish?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
While being Jewish. And so,
do people know who this guy is? I've never heard.
Yeah, it's open. It's open now. Everyone knows. But the point is that and they had a 60-minute special about this guy, like in 1998.
Really?
Yeah, you should watch it.
Was it good or bad?
No, it was very bad. It was a hit piece. It was a full-blown hit piece about this guy. And I think maybe.
Where is he now? Is he still alive? Or?
He's like 95 years old. Now it's basically his son runs the whole operation. But what I'm trying to say though is that what I'm trying to say is that sometimes when you get rich like that and you've destroyed your soul to such an extent, you'll just try to do anything you can to kind of like sleep at night better. And that could maybe be like, and because you're out of touch with regular people, that could just be what you think is the right thing to do.
Is Topher still in there? Oh, here, I'll tell. Okay. Sorry.
There's also his Open Society Foundation is just a big umbrella organization that gives a lot of money to certain nonprofits. And when you control a social justice narrative, you can also control a financial narrative. You can control a financial narrative, just like with COVID. And this is just a very glaring example, right? With COVID, a lot of these social justice, progressive, woke advocates were the biggest cheerleaders for lockdowns. Well, who did lockdowns benefit? Amazon, Walmart, the big box stores, Microsoft, all of these big mega corporations. Well, you don't think that these people are like donating to the Soros, the Soros funded organizations as a tax write-off. And so it becomes just like a big circle jerk where you're just kind of like sneakily exchanging money back and forth to one another. And then you have 15 minutes, the push for 15-minute cities at the World Economic Forum, which also creates an even bigger surveillance apparatus controlled by these same tech companies. And when you have an abundance of crime as a result of what's happening with these DAs and the homelessness and just the poverty and the income inequality through money printing and lockdowns and everything else, well, like people are forced to sell their homes at cheaper prices, and then you can build, small businesses have to close, and then you can build the infrastructure to create these 15-minute cities. Like there's a war on cars now, like a war on parking, all this other stuff, like, hey, we need to build accessory units to your single family home. It's designed to create the infrastructure for a 15-minute city where where all your conveniences and your groceries and your friendships and your life is within a 15-minute walk from one location to another, so that you can live more environmentally sustainably and not use a car and not pollute and all this other stuff. But it also creates a huge surveillance apparatus. Like look in San Francisco, you go to the grocery store, you need somebody to actually unlock the produce now because everyone's stealing.
Really?
Yeah, or like you go to Walgreens, you can't like
right now in Austin.
No, in San Francisco, in some of these other places, and that's what this progressive stuff leads to. And eventually, it could get to a point where like, hey man, scan the barcode that we install on your arm. This is like super Alex Jonesy stuff, but like, hey, scan the barcode that we install on your arm, or scan this app through your central bank digital currency, and you can once you pay for this, we can open the door and you can get your product. And so it just creates a big all of this stuff is just used to create a surveillance state with 15-minute with complete and total control, complete and total censorship, and absolute control of your bank account through central bank digital currencies. Yeah, that makes sense. It's a lot to unpack, but that's kind of like how I try to explain it.
Yeah, you should start writing. It's just I've just come to realize like that saying like the pen is mightier than the sword type of thing.
The camera is mightier than the pen.
You think so?
Yeah. The best weapon you can have is a camera. When you go to a camera and you can communicate, you get to see things exactly for what they are. Yes. Absolutely. The camera, those city council meetings, right? Like those city council meetings that Alex Stein did, millions of people see those videos, and that changes views, that changes culture, that changes society, that makes things cool. It changes the parameters of what's cool and what's not cool, which gets shared through millions of people.
Interesting. So how do we get out of this? How do we get out of this kind of thing the state that we're in here in Austin with all the DA and all that kind of stuff? Like, do you think there's a way out?
You got to build better systems. Like that's what it is. Like that's why I'm getting annoyed with this whole social media stuff, because everyone just wants to argue and engagement farm, and they care more about getting their clicks and their likes and their Elon bucks. You know what I mean?
Wait, is it giving out dollars now? Or?
Well, yeah, because you can get subscriptions down on Twitter and all this other stuff, right? And that's just more important than actually like using your voice to fight tyranny. Because when you have tyranny, nobody can make any money, and nobody can be entrepreneurial, and nobody can own investable assets, and nobody can live according to how we grew up living in America. So that's my view on it. But you got to build a bridge to a better society. And the better society is open source computing, using sound money, having Bitcoin, obviously, making sure your stuff is safe and you're not putting your things on exchanges, and just having people around you that can help guide you towards becoming more private and self-sovereign. And I've actually been, I'm lucky that, and you guys have been so helpful with a lot of that. But also like there's a guy named Polycarp Nakamoto, and he helped me get a Tails wallet. He helped me with like installing the Star 9 with getting a Linux operating system, and he does a really good job of educating people on the importance of privacy and how you can actually use privacy tools to circumvent the apparatus of the deep state. And then you guys are also helping to verify that everything is kosher with all of that, and you get to just through being around people who are really technologically savvy and very privacy focused and have these ideals of freedom, and they know how to build on freedom versus complaining about losing freedom. I think that's how you get out. You gotta build on freedom, and you gotta be open-minded, and you have to have humility to try to always understand that there's always more information. And the goal is building on freedom versus complaining about tyranny, because all the complaining does nothing unless you're actively building something better. And that's what's great about Alex Jones is he complains and he exposes a lot of stuff that's wrong, right? With what the globalists and what the Davos class are doing. And you know what? Because he exposed everything, now you pass the torch on to people like you, people like Polly, people at Plebla, the people at Unchained, to build a better system so that these globalist entities do not have the same control over our lives that they're trying to enact.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, I don't know, I've seen it. I talk about this all the time on the pod, so it's probably getting annoying at this point. But, since 21, I've just felt compelled that in order to change anything, you have to kind of just get up there and start doing it, regardless if no one wants to help you. And usually you'll find a couple of like-minded people and you just start doing your thing. And I think maybe that's kind of what we're seeing again, because it's a new cycle. So there's more people finally seeing the line, and then now they're stepping up, and that's probably what you're seeing. But, Pleb Lab, just for the record, like, we just need to be around for entrepreneurs and builders and developers, anybody that wants to get to success in whatever capacity that means. So we do like
a lot of cool stuff inside.
We do some open source like workshops on the weekends, and people from the community come in, and then Tuesdays as well. Dude. We have our hackerspace days. So, and
we got Jim with Cascader right here. Dude, and he actually was helping me with my Linux and doing all this other stuff too. And this Cascader stuff is fascinating because AI is going to be used to, AI is with OpenAI. They have like the NSA just literally has a backdoor to like looking at everything you're doing, and they could create unprecedented amounts of tyranny. And then you have, but you need AI to, because knowledge and information is being transmitted to us at an unprecedented rate. And you're going to eventually need to understand how to use AI to be able to catch up and stay ahead in this information warfare. And you got to do this while keeping your humanity and not merging with the machine and the technology.
Wait, you don't want to merge with the machine?
Fuck no.
Wait, you don't want a bionic arm?
I do not want to buy. I don't want any of that stuff. No.
Are you sure?
I'm positive. Yes. I don't. Dude, my arm's already jacked anyway. I don't need any of that, dude.
Oh wait, you don't want to be like the Marvel character with the bionic arm?
I already look like a Marvel character. So I gotta just do a cycle. No, so I'm kidding. But like you're already seeing better solutions and better forms of AI and more sovereign ways of doing things that are just getting built. And because it's becoming really popular, the goal is to make it even more popular amongst younger people so that, regular people build better technology at a faster rate than what the Davos class is trying to build. And that's how, it's a race. And you just got to do your best to help get freedom over the hill.
Yeah. And then there's another company here in Austin doing, it's called Open Agents. And from there you can pick your own LLM and be able to pay in Bitcoin. It's freaking awesome. But with that one specifically, there could be a community of agents. Basically, they can go and do certain things for you, and then you can just pay them directly in Bitcoin. It's awesome. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, this whole
is right there. Is he coming on?
Yeah,
next? Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this whole based AI revolution is happening, and it's starting in Bitcoin.
Yeah, and it's awesome, and it's good. And you know what? Bitcoin is going to change the culture because look, 10 years ago, it was cool to like go out, go clubbing and try to sleep with as many girls. I think it was broadcasted like it was cool to be like a total degenerate. And now we have better money. And once you have better money, people's focus people become better because there's a direct incentive to be better. And so then eventually like culture and society changes, and it changes in the best way possible.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like it's swinging back the other way now, because even like at my church, I was telling somebody here earlier, like you're even seeing more women who you would consider woke start coming to the church now, which is totally different than I remember a few years ago.
It's good. You should embrace that.
Oh, no, I do. I'm just saying people are waking up now.
You also have to be careful.
People that you would never think that would wake up.
Yeah. Well, you also have to be careful of people just trying to do this for the wrong reasons.
What do you mean?
Like, there was this porn star on now and then, like, all of a sudden she just, I came to Jesus and now I'm married and now she just went from that to just full blown Jesus. Like, I'm not gonna say freak, but that's the best word I can think of for right now. And here's the thing, right? I think that if people are doing that, that's awesome, and you should support people in their journey. But there also is a possibility that somebody like that could be doing that because they see the culture changing and they want to capitalize on that. But generally speaking, I think that if you're doing this organically, it's always good to verify to make sure people are doing this stuff and they're doing it because they genuinely believe it versus trying to grift on something.
How would you really know though? Like, how would you know?
You don't. And what I'm trying to say is that when you focus on your own improvement and the improvement of building a stronger community for yourself, you don't need to fixate on that.
So you're saying like
it doesn't matter. Like it just doesn't matter.
So you're saying the proof of work is all that counts?
Yeah.
In her life, maybe.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter. It's not even worth fixating over in any capacity. I'm just giving an example of the fact that there's a possibility of people who might be doing this to grift, and they're not doing it for the right reason.
That's what grifting is?
Yeah, it's like they might be just doing it for the wrong reasons. And generally speaking, it's like, look, we're friends, right? You're my friend. You married?
No.
Okay.
Are you going to get married or something?
No, I'm asking. It's just a question, right? Like, let's say like you meet a girl, like, you meet a girl at church or at a spiritual function, and it's like, oh, she turned out she used to be a stripper.
Where are you going with this?
Like, but now she found Jesus. Like,
where are you going with this?
What would you like? Now she found Jesus. Would you like? Would you be?
Are you asking me if I'll date a stripper or something?
Yeah, she found Jesus now.
I don't know, man. I'm not.
But this is where it comes down to, because the purpose of doing this is to find a family. Because if you don't find a family, the government becomes your family, and then you have Sprinkles, the drag queen, reading stories to your 5-year-old kid in a thong at the elementary school. But like the real talk, dude. Like eventually, like the purpose of this cultural transformation is to build families and communities so that you become more self-sovereign and don't need and are less dependent on the apparatus of the state as people are right now. And so as a result of that, like you want to get married, you want to have relationships, you want to do all that stuff. You go to church, you're in church, you're at a spiritual function, you meet a girl who all of a sudden now she found Jesus. She just found Jesus like maybe a couple years ago or a year ago, but she used to be a stripper and she also was an escort. Would you date someone like that?
I never know when you're being serious.
No, I'm actually dead serious. I'm dead serious. Would you date someone?
I don't know. I'm asking you. Would you date somebody like that?
Well, I'm in a committed relationship for like 7.5 years.
Say you weren't.
I don't think I could ever date someone that was an escort. I think when it comes to the stripper stuff, my view is that like, maybe this sounds bad, but like, I'm not like, I wouldn't wait. I couldn't see myself waiting to have sex with somebody when that person was probably like giving it up to anybody and everybody and has had like a body count over 100 people. I'm like, I'd feel like a sucker if I like had to, if I was like, if I were to have to like wait to get laid from somebody who was giving it up to everybody with minimal effort. I don't know that I could be able to physically, I don't know that that's something that I could do. And it's okay to be honest about it. It's like, I don't think I could date a single mom. But there are people who do that and become really great step parents and find like true everlasting love and develop these amazing relationships. And it doesn't mean that all single moms are bad. And if you're a single mom, it doesn't mean you should give up hope and be treated badly. But I personally don't think that I could do that. Right. With where I'm at right now. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like if you can't do it, that's okay. Just like it's okay to not want trannies to read to children, or it's okay to not like, it's okay to like have your own, have boundaries. Like that is okay. You're not a bad person for wanting to have boundaries or wanting to have or being self-aware and understanding what's going on. But no, the point is, and it's not demonizing. Like, it's just, how would you feel about like, you meet a girl, she's really pretty, really nice. Like has a lot of the same beliefs that you have, but she used to be a prostitute. What, like,
I never know when you're serious.
No, I'm actually very serious right now. I'm being very serious.
Let's change the subject because people don't want to hear this kind of stuff.
Do they not?
No, they don't. They really don't.
Okay, fine. We'll change the subject. But it's just about the culture and the culture shifting. I think being aware to like, it's
just
not.
To summarize the last 10 minutes, I think you're trying to say is like, how can you trust people that say they do these things, but they really don't?
Because you just don't know. Yeah, you don't know. And it's just a matter of like, well, what if you just got played? What if this person said, like, okay, here's how I'm going to say this, right? It's like rug pulling, right? Like, what if you meet somebody who you think has a bunch of the same values that you have, and they had this past and did all this stuff, and then you marry them and you wind up trying to have this relationship, and then it turns out like, no, dude, you just married somebody that was completely different from who you were with, and then the family and the foundation that you wanted to build is just not going to get built.
I think I got an answer for that.
Okay, yeah.
So
that's kind of where I was getting at, right?
Yeah, I think it has. I think it's more like, did you ever see like in the early days of social media, people would buy like likes and views and all those type of thing.
Yeah.
And then like people would be like, oh, how did that guy become so popular? And it's like, oh, because he bought a bunch of likes and views and followers and all that kind of stuff. I think it's kind of the same thing where you're not really helping yourself. You know, like you're only hurting yourself, I think, in the long run, and you're not really helping yourself. Like if the whole point for you to, you know, find a place in you know, whatever you believe, like I think you're doing a disservice to yourself, if anything, because it's better just to, I mean, hard things cost time and money, and it like it's hard to do these things. It's hard to love. It's hard to trust. It's hard to do all these things, and by you lying to yourself and just, you know, you're not helping yourself. If that makes any sense. Like it's supposed to be a hard path. Like the holy path is a hard path.
Yes, and I hope that I don't come across as being judgmental towards people. I don't want to do that. I just think that there are always added layers of complexity to different circumstances in life that people should just be aware of and understand. Just to navigate.
I also think too. I think like I'm a firm believer. Just like letting it play out and just like letting that kind of do its own thing. And you'll kind of find out in time whether that person was or not. I mean, it's one thing to lie to yourself and say that you're doing all these things, but it's another thing to actually do them. And the truth will always show itself.
The truth always shows, and you should always nurture people when they're on a journey to self-improvement. But these journeys take a long time. And you should just never believe somebody at face value. That's all I'm really trying to say, is that you should never believe somebody at face value, and growth takes years and years and years. And if people are trying to grow, you nurture them and you support them. And you say, I'm really proud of you for doing all this stuff, but you just don't jump into relationships or anything like that until you know for sure as like whether or not the values and everything else is in line with each other. That's kind of all I'm trying to say. And yeah, you know, the whole, would you date someone like that? It's an inflammatory statement, but these inflammatory statements, they're just designed to get people to think.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's all it is, right? It's just designed to get people to think. I figured
you were just trying to make a joke, but
no, I really wasn't. And I know it sounds funny, but I was genuinely,
because your straight face is as good as your laughing face.
It is, right? It's like, yeah.
This is what makes this why you're so good. You never know. That's true. You never know. You never know when you're pulling your leg. Anyway, that was an interesting conversation. So let's jump back into the Austin stuff. So, have you ever gotten into a fight with any of these people that have stiffed you on the pedicab?
A couple times.
Really?
Once, yeah. Usually I try not to.
Are they usually from out of town, or?
Yeah, I got in a fight with somebody at F1 a couple years ago.
Why would they do to you?
He didn't want to pay me. It was like 2 a.m.
Oh man, dude, that sucks. What did you do?
Just hit him in the face and knocked him out.
You drove him all the way from F1 downtown?
No, it wasn't F1. It was like from West 6. It was just some European trash douchebag, right? Like I drove him to 4th. He didn't want to pay me. Or he just didn't have, he said he'd pay me. He didn't have the money. I was like,
why don't you take the money beforehand?
Because it was on Venmo. He didn't have any cash. And usually I trust people. And also it's better to not take the money beforehand, because if they love the ride, they tip you more. And that's what it is. And most people do not stiff you, and most people are not like that. And if I do feel like there's a trust issue, I will take it beforehand. But usually I don't, right? Usually it's fine. And I was also in a weird, I usually don't get I usually rarely get stiffed, and I usually don't get into fights with people because of that. Because it's not worth it. It's like $10 or $20, and it's not worth getting a fight over $20.
Yeah,
but I was already kind of like having a bad day and already pissed about something else, and so this guy just didn't want to pay me, and so I just hit him. He dropped, and then like.
But you take jujitsu though, right?
Yeah, I mean I've done a little. Yeah,
so you could really hurt somebody.
But yeah, you could. I didn't use any jujitsu on him. I just hit him at the left hook, and he fell.
Oh wow. Do you hit hard?
I don't know. I mean, I hit hard enough for him to fall, but not hard enough for him to get hurt.
Was he bigger than you? Or?
Yeah, he was bigger than me, but he, you know, look, there was also, he was probably out partying, so who knows, all right? You know?
Gosh. What's the craziest thing that you've seen downtown when you're on him? Have you ever seen like...
But actually, he didn't pay me, but like 2 other guys who were at the bar waiting in line gave me $30 because they just wanted to just paying for his fare, which is kind of cool, and I just drove off, you know?
Yeah. What's the craziest thing you ever seen down there?
Dude, I once saw these. Oh, I can tell you this. I once saw these like 2 guys beating up their girlfriends like downtown.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Like, and
did you stop it?
Yeah. Well, I had customers in my cab. There are other cabbers that are watching this. And at first I'm like, I'm playing my songs and we're jamming out, having a great time, doing all this, right? Rapping, you know, and I see what's happening. I'm like, yo, is everything all right? And it looks like they're like, oh, we're fine, everything's cool. And then all of a sudden I see this guy just like shove his girlfriend or just like elbow his girlfriend or do something. And I was like, yo, what do you know, then I get off the bike and I confront them.
Good for you, man.
Yeah. And then the guy, like one of the kids just took a swing at me and I just fucking hit him. And then like, he drops like
so you're like,
stone. Well, I mean, I had a couple boxing fights when I was younger, but
so you're kind of like Batman down there.
no, I'm not. I just got lucky and I hit him and he fell.
Have you ever thought
Thought
about just being Batman?
just dressing up in a costume and just hitting people?
Just like being a vigilante like that. Like dress up as Batman.
I want to catch pedophiles like Alex Rosen.
No, but I'm saying like dress up as Batman on the pedicab on the weekends and then just fight crime.
No, I just want to get paid and give rides and play my rap
I think
songs.
you get more money if you're dressed up as Batman.
No, I do fine with my people like my intellect, my educational lyrics. But anyway, then his friend, then the story gets crazy. Okay, so then his friend comes up and I'm like, I was still in fight mode, and this other pedicabber pulls me away from everything because the friend had a knife on him and I didn't know.
Oh no, what'd you do?
Like I just went back in my.
See, this is where you need the Kevlar vest. This is why Batman would.
Well, okay, so there were other pedicabbers in this situation.
Did you kick it?
I just like figured everything was kind of under control, and so I just had my customers, and I just got back in my cab and drove my customers to Rainy Street where they wanted to go.
Interesting.
And that was it. And then
the cops never show up for any of this stuff, Alex?
The story continues.
Oh, okay. He followed you.
No. This other driver named Leo gave everybody a ride, right? He winds up giving the girls a ride because the girls were trying to get away from the guys and all this other stuff, right?
Yeah.
And the guys jump in the cab and they're still beating up their girlfriends while he's giving them a ride, right?
No.
And so he tells them that he's like has to deliver an 8-ball of Coke or some fucking blow to one of the bouncers at Native Hostel at the time. He goes and tries to tell them what's happening. They threw him out. My other friend Mike is following and trailing, and I guess the cops got called, and he's trailing to see what's happened. And when they kick out my friend from the bar, a couple of police officers start rolling up, and they get in my friend Mike's cab. Like they see those guys, the kids see the cops, and the kids fucking make a run for it. And then my friend Mike is in his pedicab with the cops in the back of the cab, and they chase these guys on a pedicab to catch them and arrest them. And it turns out like the guy who I hit had like a fucking gun on him, you know what I mean? And could have fucking shot me if I didn't leave. And had like, and they had they were just fucking big drug dealers and all this other stuff. And then a day and a half later, Leo, the driver, sees those same kids who beat up their girlfriend just out shopping like together for clothes, like it was like nothing happened. And I'm just like, oh, that's cool. Just let these fucking deranged criminals just.
So what you're talking about is basically what KView reported on a few weeks ago, or maybe it was last week.
I mean,
so let me just bring this up real quick.
Sure.
So private investigator undercover report finds alleged illegal alcohol sales, drug deals on 6th Street. So the Pecan Street Owners Association hired a private investigator to look into the concerns about alleged drugs, violence, and illegal activity on 6th Street. And so this was on KView, dude. They actually, this report shows a PDF of them actually going into what exactly they found. It's pretty gruesome,
Let's
man.
See it.
But
there's
anyways,
a lot of drug dealers.
Let me just explain this to the audience that's listening at home. So the Pecan Street Owners Association has been investigating alleged illegal after-hours alcohol sales and drug deals on the street. Back in March, they hired the owner of VCO Security and Investigations, Marcus Stoke, who is also a former Texas Alcohol Beverage Commissioner, so he's a TABC supervisor, to go undercover. He said that this is, and I quote, we would go over to the unlicensed clubs, after-hours clubs, and we would work those usually till about 4 or 5 in the morning. He went on to say that they stay in those bars and can really drink until daylight. He goes on to say the drug activity, especially the serious drug activity, including heroin and fentanyl and those things, needs to be enforced. He said people are literally driving there with their own alcohol and drugs and just having a big street party. He goes on to say, I would say it's time to probably open the street back up to where that criminal element can't just flourish right there like that anymore. So basically what's happening, Alex, right here, and for the people that are listening at home, is the Austin PD is just kind of supervising that street. They're not actually, because in the Valley and some of these places in other parts of Texas, they actually have like a drunk tank or whatever you would call that on site to arrest people for any of this kind of stuff.
Well,
and here, let me just finish. And here on 6th Street, they don't actually have that, nor have they ever. And so this private investigator for the Pecan Street Owners team there is saying that, hey, why isn't this happening? Even at Mardi Gras in Galveston, Spring Break in South Padre, all these other places. This is how they combat some of that drug use and illegal behavior. And this kind of just goes right into what you're saying. Like, it's insane, dude.
Well, there's a lot of demoralization too. Our police are some of the most demoralized that you have, even in America. With they've been defunded. They feel like they're always being attacked. The city council doesn't have their back in any capacity. And our DA is just lets violent criminals out on PR bonds on a pretty regular basis. And to top it off, they they will overly persecute the cops for doing anything that could be a potential violation of the law. Totally arbitrary.
And I'll link to this report in the show notes, but let me name a couple of the establishments. So he said Mala Vida and Mala Fama. He says is most definitely a criminal enterprise. He said Creek in the Cave, drug activity. Lit Lounge, gang activity. 512 Bar, gang activity. The Cut, engaging in organized criminal activity. Space Siete, organized criminal activity. Tellers, engaging in organized criminal activity. And then he says Sabine Street, just in general, there's approximately a dark street area of Sabine where mostly people are purchasing narcotics and then going back to the club. And this whole report goes into it. And he says, as a lifetime peace officer and expert witness in this field, I would recommend the following immediate actions. He says, report violations to TABC and Austin PD, report violations to comptroller. TABC must be held accountable to investigate violations, share report with APD, install bollards to temporarily widen sidewalks, hold bars accountable, proactively monitor halo cameras, eliminate food vendors, eliminate mass gathering. There needs to be divisions in narcotics and vice in this area. And the APD must keep arresting every single violation of uphold the law. And that's the end of the report. It's insane, dude.
What's also crazy is that look, it's pretty stealth. Like when I give pedicab rides, I don't notice any of that. Like I don't notice anything. I'm giving ride, but I also barely go on 6th Street.
Dude, we used to. So
Your office was on 6th Street.
Yeah, Pleb Lab's office was right there on Sabine, and we saw that every day of our every day. We would see that every night.
You see bums everywhere all the time.
Well, it's not that. We would see the whole drug activity, and we would call it in, and there's nothing.
Yeah.
So I'm like applauding these people for
doing the investigation.
Doing the investigation, and hopefully they can change it.
But what happens? Like you need a new DA.
Well, this was just last week. This was last week. So we'll see what changes. But, this is why we do podcasts like this, to talk about these sort of things. Because I care about Austin, dude. I don't want this to be.
Well, it's it's funny, man.
And I don't think it is. I don't think it is going to turn into this. I think people are going to fix it.
To go back to Alex Jones' car, they want to get rid of all of his social media accounts and everything like that. But these drug dealers and these violent criminals get to have as much social media as they want.
So let's jump into rapid fire because we're gonna run this up already. But what's a book that you've been reading lately that you find to be really
Gradually Then Suddenly?
Really?
Yeah, I'm more than halfway through. I want to finish because I want to have him on my podcast.
Okay, that's a nice goal. Secondly, I know we talked about some of the illegal stuff that you see down there in downtown and how they're trying to fix it. But what are some of the good things what is like one of your favorite memories that you've seen downtown while you're pedicabbing?
Well, I just think the culture's changing.
Is your favorite memory?
No, I mean just personal individual memories.
Yeah, what's one of your favorite memories pedicabbing?
Let me think about this. I gave Alex Jones a ride once, but that was years ago, and he gave me a $100 tip for taking him a block, and all I wanted was a picture. But I was actually riding a golf cart. It wasn't even technically a pedicab, but still, I'm counting it. Favorite memory? I guess honestly, it's just a collection, right? When I play my songs and do my sales pitch about, hey, we're fighting communism and this and that. Whenever I get the positive feedback, keep telling the truth, brother. You're doing God's work. And I when I hear stuff like that, I hear a lot of positive affirmations about this stuff,
cool.
Which makes me really happy and makes me want to give more rides and be out there more. It makes me feel like I'm doing something good.
And then the last question is, you said that you found your faith again because you're Jewish. And so what has changed in your life and your girlfriend's life at home that you find to be much more fuller now than before? Or it hasn't, yeah.
What has changed? Honestly, I don't know if anything really, really changed so much. I just think that I'm mentally able to navigate everything, and I'm just continuing to have my mental health and happiness. And I think a lot of people who do what I do lose sight of who they are, and they lose their mental health, and they get giant egos, and they become probably pretty unpleasant to deal with. And or they lose sight about why they're doing it, and they do things for clicks and content and not for the right purposes. And they develop an unrealistic expectation of the world around them and of who they are. And I think that me do my best to try to explore this. Like, listen, and don't get me wrong, the amount of progress I've made is very negligible and minimal, and I'm just starting this. Okay, it's something I'm just starting and trying to explore.
Is your girlfriend on board with it?
She's actually not even Jewish. She's Christian, but she's been going. She will listen to the Red Rocks Church on Sunday.
Oh, okay.
And then she has like a Bible and she'll read it, and I love that, and I think that's awesome because it doesn't matter as long as you get in touch with God. That's what matters, right? So
you think it's changed you for the better because of it's helping you with navigate the darkness right now in the world?
Well, yeah, I just think it I think that, but I think it just also makes it so that like you want to be happier. I think, right? Or you just like want, or like you get, it's hard to tangibly explain, but I think that like when you like love God and try to serve God, like you just get better ideas come to you because everything that you do, I think just comes from God.
Yeah, you were saying that the last time. Yeah.
So, and you might not even understand how that works, or it just gives you an appreciation. You're just like, man, I'm grateful. Cause like,
I think the gratefulness is kind of the thing that I found
here's the
too,
thing,
as
right?
well.
Like
Yeah.
I could easily be angry about not having 100,000 followers. I could be mad that I don't have that I don't make a ton of money off of, like, my videos are not an income generator, right? I spend money on my videos. I don't make money from any of this stuff. Okay. I could be angry about that. I could be mad that my songs are not number 1 and 2 or whatever top 5 songs in the country because my Biden song and my Trump song are good. They are fire, dude. They are really good songs. Like I should be getting invited and booked to play these songs at almost every conservative event that there is, right? Like from a talent wise, I do feel as though my abilities are there. Okay. And that just, I'm grateful that I have that much confidence and self-confidence that I feel this way. If I didn't have like a stronger faith, that confidence could very easily turn to anger and jealousy about why am I not doing that? Right. But instead I'm just like, okay, it didn't happen. But what did happen? I have a job I love. I don't have to set an alarm clock. I'm in a very happy, loving relationship. We're exclusive. We're faithful. Always have been. I still have my best friend. Still have a good relationship with my family. I'm financially, my life has improved exponentially since COVID. Mm-hmm. And I've been able to keep my mental health. And actually my mental health is probably better and stronger and more resilient to Psyops and everything else than it was 5 or 6 or 7 years ago. And I have a house in a nice area and I have a garden, learning how to grow my own food. And I'm learning all these things that I think are really beneficial and the building blocks of fighting the tyranny that I talk about. So I think that like, I guess having a good religious foundation just helps, or just learning about that just helps you always be self-aware and always try to remain humble and just, it gives me the ability to do my best to do things for the right reasons. And I guess that's really it. And it's making me feel, it just tries to make me a little more introspective. Like, well, when you're making the video, what's the purpose? Why are you making this? What's the goal? It also makes you very like more guarded about how you treat yourself because now you have a responsibility. It's like, look, and it's a rant, but when you're dealing with people,
it's beautiful.
When you're dealing with people who,
I feel like I'm getting to know the inner you right now.
Look, when you're dealing with people that can print up money at will and utilize direct energy weapons and send Category 5 hurricanes to other countries as a means of warfare and manufacture viruses and create algorithms that control how people think. The only thing that you can do is have a faith in God, because that beats all of that. So there's no other. I just don't see another choice.
It's beautiful. I love it.
Agent Intellect knocks and says, again, assault my